Hi there, and welcome to Citizen Air, the platform where we speak truth to power. Yeah, what do you think of my new attire? We've been launching some things as to how we can actually, what's the word? How you can get it if you would like a copy of this. If you would like to have the same thing I'm wearing, the hoodie, £40, and the cap £20. It is really, I like it. It's comfortable. What do you think? And it says the platform where we speak truth to power along the bottom on here. Let me just see if I can show you. So yeah, along the bottom there, it states it there. The platform where we speak truth to power. Sorry, the platform where we speak truth to power along the bottom there. You're of course listening to Season A, the platform where we speak truth to power. Need to do one or two things. I'm probably gonna be on the go again. I go and do one or two things. But like I said, I thought I'd do this video in between that. Um, there were some events I was supposed to have attended, but because I double booked, I can't quite fit them in. But we will carry on nonetheless. And I want to thank you all, of course, for joining us. Those great men behind me, we need to continue to promote and support them. This news is specifically about Nigeria, and like you say, following the Okuneye, the crossdresser Olanrewaju Okuneye, following her arrest and subsequently so-called, at least we thought she was in jail, and the revelations made by the very dark man, Kenneth, I think is, I'm quite sure, it is now obvious that the secret is out. Politicians and public personalities are above the law in Nigeria. One law for the rich, another for the poor. That is what we're going to go and discuss and look into in depth on the discussions this afternoon. And we will go into the discussions using listening to a video coming from the Arise News. Um, Gives you a nice summary of what is really going on. And it shows now the question we're now beginning to ask. So every time now that they jail any of the governors or the senators, the House of Reps, or any politician, so we now know that they don't actually go to jail. They go into a place that is not quite jail, just somewhere close to the jail to pretend. This is why we keep saying for us as Nigerians, as citizens, to know our rights. We are the sovereigns, and it states in the constitution sovereignty belongs to the people of Nigeria, from whom the government, through this constitution, derives all its powers and authority. That's section 14.2c. And in Yoruba, it says, ìjọba jẹ́ ti àwọn ènìyàn Nàìjíríà láti ọ̀dọ̀ ní tìjọba nípasẹ̀ òfin orílẹ̀-èdè gbogbo ara àti àṣẹ rẹ̀. All of this I've talked about, and I'm saying it again, and I'm saying it again and again. We, the sovereigns, you and I, we are the sovereigns. We possess the power. However, we've been conditioned to believe that we are powerless. And I've just read to you this section in the Constitution that states clearly that we are the sovereigns. Furthermore, 14.2c of the Constitution states that the participation by the people in the government shall be ensured in accordance with the provisions of this Constitution. Part of that provision is that as a sovereign, you have the power to participate by way of questioning your governance over their deliberations, over the activities of the government. Remember, we, the sovereigns, we are the ones that have the power to question those we elect or appoint into office. We have never ever used those powers. It is time we use it. And critically, you saw me reading it in Yoruba. I'm going to say that again. Abala kẹrin lẹ́sẹ̀ kejì sí ìkópa àwọn ènìyàn nínú ìjọba wọn gbọ́dọ̀ rí dájú ní ìbámu pẹ̀lú àwọn òfin orílẹ̀-èdè. Simply means, in English, the participation by the people in the government shall be ensured in accordance with the provisions of this constitution. So I will continue to reiterate that. Now, it's not about blaming this or blaming the other. Obviously, the Minister of Interior has questions to answer, Dr. Olubunmi Tojiojo. So all assurances is making comes to nothing. Um, because all of this has been happening. It's only until very dark man came up and exposed this. Now they're now scrambling around trying to say to reassure. It's not really to reassure. They're trying to cover up their tracks and pretend that they're working. They're not. And until we, the citizens, continue to hold them to account via monthly town halls, I keep saying that on this platform. We need to have monthly town hall meetings. You need to have independent local community associations. You need to have assessment of the community infrastructure in your community. And then from following that assessment, you now call a town hall meeting where you call in your local government chairman, your state assembly member, your House of Reps, your senators, and governors to come and account for the funding that they're receiving on a monthly basis. As we now know, the local governments now, they are now getting the funds directly from the federal government into their accounts to be able to give you the infrastructure that the funds the federal government is giving to them affords. And I repeat, unless and until we begin to participate in this process, this injustice will continue. It is about every community holding monthly town hall meetings. It is a must. We must start holding monthly town hall meetings. And I'm going to be doing stuff, you'll be seeing something about that. So every community in all 704 local government areas, we must begin to hold monthly town hall meetings. How does that fit into this question here? Let's take a closer look. But of course, what we say again, the secret is out. Politicians and public personalities are above the law in Nigeria. It is one law for the rich, another for the poor. And we need to put a stop to it through our active participation in our governance on a daily basis. All of us, we are sovereigns. Let me quickly just do one thing. One sec. Yes, hey presto, we've got the words on the screen. I want to remind you of this, and you need to use this. Now, whatever they're doing, let them carry on. And they must really continue with what they're doing, but this time we need to be directing their actions because we are the sovereigns, as it states on the screen. And I'll use the arrow to point to what I mean. 1428 states, it is hereby accordingly declared that sovereignty belongs to the people of Nigeria, from whom the government, through this constitution, derives all its powers and authority. You and I, we possess its powers. We have never used those powers before. Now is the time to start using it. We must start now. Furthermore, 14.2c states, the participation by the people in the government shall be ensured in accordance with the provisions of this constitution. You are seeing it on the screen, and I'm deliberately pointing that out. Please take screenshot of this and use it. Now, I'm going to translate it into Yoruba. There is the Igbo version, there's the Hausa version, but I'm not going to go into that now because it's going to take too long. But I want us to know that we have those powers. Now, going to zoom in quickly again. In Yoruba, I want you to know these powers and memorize it. It says here, abala kẹrin ẹsẹ̀ kejì a nípa báyìí ó ti kéde pé ìjọba jẹ́ ti àwọn ènìyàn Nàìjíríà láti ọ̀dọ̀ ẹni tíjọba nípasẹ̀ òfin orílẹ̀-èdè yìí gbogbo agbára àti àṣẹ rẹ̀. It simply means that, as stated before under 14.2 in English, a sovereign, ọba aláṣẹ, authority, àṣẹ, finally, agbára, power. You as an individual, you possess all those three things and you can use it to hold your government to account. Our role is to monitor our governance indeed on a daily basis. It is clear that they're not going to perform their functions without we, the people, observing and monitoring them closely. And we do that via monthly town halls. Now, the monthly town halls, we have the power to carry them out because, as I stated, if you moments ago I read to you in English, the participation by the people in the government. Let me read that to you just in case I didn't quite go over that. Let me just do that quickly. It says here, 14.2c, the participation by the people in the government shall be ensured in accordance with the provisions of this constitution. That's 14.2c. So it means that we have the power to participate in our governance, and the participation is by questioning those in governance, making them accountable. The senators, they have to be accountable to us as where the project funds are going, who are the contractors, how much has been spent, what's the balance, what is the expected completion date for the project. These are the things we need to begin to get used to be doing, because we are the sovereigns and we possess the ultimate power in the country collectively to hold our governance to account. Our role is to monitor our governance. And briefly in Yoruba, just to reiterate that point again. Sorry, I don't know. Okay, yeah. So just to reiterate that point, 14.2c abala kẹrin láìsẹ̀ kejì c. So I'm going to just make it closer because I want you to see it. Ó wà nínú ìwé òfin pé abala kẹrin láìsẹ̀ kejì c ìkópa àwọn ènìyàn nínú ìjọba wọn gbọ́dọ̀ rí dájú ní ìbámu pẹ̀lú àwọn òfin orílẹ̀-èdè. What that simply means, again in Yoruba, is that you are the sovereign. And as a sovereign, you have the power to question your governance. Not just about voting alone. That power to question means that you can call you have the power to call, and you must call town hall meetings every month. You question your local government chairman, your state of assembly, your house of reps, your senators. You call them to a town hall meeting, and they must answer your questions. And indeed, furthermore, I'll go maybe later on in the next chapter, in the next discussion, I'll tell you the powers that you actually have to recall them and impeach your governors. But we don't want to go too far because all of this is just trying to lay the foundation as to what we need to be doing on a regular basis in all our communities. And this is why you can see that this is in Yoruba. We are advocating for people in all communities to know their constitution and their local languages. Without this knowledge, you cannot achieve anything. You cannot get in a referendum. You cannot change the governance. You need to know you have the powers of sovereignty, and how to use it is active participation by monitoring your governance on a daily basis in each and every community. Now, that being said, let us go ahead and listen to this broadcast now about Okuneye, the lady. Keep in mind, this lady, she was charged with money laundering, I think, or something like that. It's not it's Okuneye, sorry. Not Oyewole, I was stating before. It's Okuneye. It is a name is Olanrewaju Okuneye, I think. So he was the one that exposed on the voicemail that very dark man exposed, that she said that she paid 50 million not to go to jail. Let us think about that. The lady here, or the cross-dresser Okuneye, Olanrewaju Okuneye, aka Bobrisky, paid 50 million to avoid going to jail. This is why we say the secret is out. Politicians and public personalities are above the law in Nigeria. One law for the rich, another for the poor. This is no longer acceptable, and the only way to put a stop to it is through active participation in our governance at the local level, using our powers of sovereignty. I reiterate that. It's not about calling names. We need to take collective action. So we are here to advocate for that, to know your rights in your local language, and of course be able to use those powers to question your government and hold them to account. Your role is to monitor your governance closely, because it is evident that they are not going to do what they're supposed to do because they don't want to, because they've taken it for granted that you don't know your rights. Hence why we are advocating for the constitution to be in local languages. Let us proceed. So the man there, Dr. Olubunmi Tojiojo, Minister for Interior, is now trying to make excuses. We should be calling town hall meetings. It should be explained to us why all of this is happening. We don't want any assurances. It's already clear. The system has clearly failed. Is this what is going to happen to Yaya Bello? Is this what has been happening to previous senators and governors and others that have been arrested, that they don't actually end up in jail, that they're going out, they're getting a hotel close to the place? These are things that need to tell us. We need to get all of the previous people that have been convicted and see the evidence that points to what Okuneye, Olanrewaju Okuneye, stated, that she paid 15 million to stay in a place close to the jail rather than be in the actual jail. You see, these are questions we should be asking. So let us proceed. Okay, so here we go. Sorry, let me just forward that. I don't want to. There you go. Let's do this. Here we go.
The total reform of the Nigerian Correctional Service comes against the backdrop of allegations of bribery and corruption within the service, while the federal government, through the Civil Defense, Correctional, Fire and Immigration Services Board, has responded by suspending 2 senior officers fingered in the allegation. Nigerians are calling for stiffer punishment for all those that will be indicted by the Special Investigative Panel set up to probe the allegations. Social media influencer Martins Ose also
Martins,
known
you
as
said.
Very Dark Man, had alleged that cross-dresser Idris Okuneye, also
Idris
known as
Oguneye.
Bobrisky, bribed officials of the custodial center who ensured he didn't spend a 6-month prison sentence at the assigned facility. At this meeting, the minister says nobody involved in the
Let us hear that again. Listen to that bit. I want you to hear that bit again. Listen to that bit. Here we go.
assigned facility. At this meeting, the
1
minister
minute, 1
says
minute. Just roll it back a touch. Here we go.
bri-
Listen. So, here we go. Listen.
bribed officials of the custodial center who ensured he didn't spend a 6-month prison sentence
didn't
at the
spend
assigned facility.
6
At
months
this meeting, the minister
sentence
says
at the
nobody
facility.
involved in the cross-dresser saga will escape punishment.
Do you believe the minister? Do you believe what this minister says, that no one involved in this will escape punishment? Do you believe him? Do you? I'm just asking. I don't know. Do you believe him? Because I don't. But again, keep in mind, this is why we're talking about the need for us. This is no longer about talking now. It's about action. We are calling for that, for you to really use your powers of governance and hold them to account in your local language. So the powers that you possess in local language, you need to use those powers and put them on the screen. Now is for you to use it. The only way to put a stop to this is to begin to monitor your governance in your local language, using the powers of authority as sovereign. Oba Alashe, Ashe, Agbara. You have all three. You're a sovereign, your authority, you have power. And the constitution affords you the power to question this minister and others via town hall meetings, monthly town hall meetings. Don't wait around. This is what we need to do in every single community. Begin to hold them accountable and ensure that the government complies with our law. No one is above the law. If they're above the law, we might as well break up Nigeria then. Since they are above the law, what's the point of keeping one Nigeria? If it's one law for them and another for others, there's no point in keeping one Nigeria. One Nigeria is meaningless when they consider themselves above the law. Yes, let us carry on.
Thing you can be sure of, you can be sure about. Be sure of this, and I swear to God Almighty.
We cannot be sure of anything. You can use all your Jesus Christ and Allah all you want. It means nothing. It's empty words. It's empty platitudes. We are not going to fall for that. The people ultimately are the ones who possess the power to hold the governor to account, and it is time we use it. And we are here to encourage you to use those powers. Enough talk. We need collective action. Monthly town hall meetings in all 774 local government areas right now. Let us begin. Join me if you want to learn how to do this in your local language. Let us begin. You cannot trust anything they're saying. Anything they say is not what the paper is written on. Let's carry
on. We will not shield anybody, no matter who the person is.
Do you believe it?
The reason why we took that decision yesterday.
Oh, so from yesterday, bam. After the fact, how many politicians have done exactly what Okuneye did and avoided going to jail? That's the question we're asking. How many? Start calling town hall meetings. Don't wait around. You need town hall meetings now. This is where you need to take action. Just going, oh, how could they? No. Now you need to know that you're a sovereign and you must use those powers. I am imploring everybody watching this, please share. Share it. We have the power to hold them to account, make them accountable to us. We must use it in every local government area. All 774 local government areas. Start having monthly independent local community associations must have monthly town hall meetings to question those we elect into office. It is your right. Without you monitoring them, they will continue to loot your funds. They will continue to put themselves above the law. Your role is to monitor them, to keep them in check. That's your role. Our role collectively. Let's carry on.
Is that the in charge, who is a high senior officer, is a deputy controller.
Yeah, we know that. We know that. So all of this talk, this happened under your watch. And you should not be escaping. This man should not be in his position. No. All of this what talk is trying to do now is trying to save face. Oh, I'm an action man. Your action is happening after the event. The lady did not go into jail and you did not do anything. And you wouldn't have done anything had very dark man not exposed this. So you are not fit to be in that position that you're in, Olatunji Ojo. Respectfully, of course. That's the plain fact. Had the very dark man not exposed this, none of us will be none the wiser. And the people and politicians and personalities would have been continuing not to go to jail and pretending to be serving jail sentences. The system is broken. Here's clear evidence. Let's carry on.
That is the senior officer. For error or whatever, he first of all takes while we investigate.
Yeah, we don't need to. We know the process. The question is that you guys, those of you, the politicians, you are not adhering to the process. And that is the fundamental issue. Now, we, the citizens, now realizing our powers in our local languages. I'm going to put it up again. And I want you to, those of you watching, please take note of that. Take sense of that. That's why I keep putting it up. You know, see it. You have the power. You are the sovereign. Oba lashe leni eni ashe edeni agbara. Sovereignty, authority, and power. You possess that within your communities. You didn't know it? Now you know. We need you to take action. Monthly town hall meetings. Begin to participate. Monitor your government. If you don't, they will loot. They will get away with crimes because you're not monitoring them. We must monitor them. Come what may in every community. No more talk. No more praying. Forget that nonsense. You need collective action. We're showing you how to do it. Let us begin now. Okay, let's go ahead.
So that there is no way anybody can tamper. And when you look at the team that we set up to investigate,
it's too late. It's too late. 6-month sentence. She didn't serve it. What did you do at that point? This man should be called. If the government is serious about addressing this barefaced attempt to prevent the course of law to take its effect, you should be facing questions from the federal government. You should be in front of a tribunal explaining why all of this happened under your watch. And we should make sure that happens. You can go and call to your local government chairman, your state of assembly, call them to town hall meeting and tell them that you want them to make sure that a tribunal is put in place to question the minister, Tunji Ojo. This is your right as a sovereign. You can do that. You didn't know it before because it was hidden from you via this religious nonsense they put to fill your brains. Now we are trying to wake you up to use the powers that you possess. Okay? So the power that you possess, I'm bringing it again. In Yoruba, we have it in English, but I'm not interested in English. In your Yoruba land, you're a Yoruba man. You need to know your powers, your rights in your local language, and that's what I'm putting up there. So we will do that. Ìjọba jẹ́ ti àwọn èèyàn Nàìjíríà láti ọ̀dọ̀ ní ìjọba nípasẹ̀ òfin orílẹ̀-èdè gbogbogbòrà àti àṣẹ rẹ̀. Simply means sovereignty belongs to the people of Nigeria, from whom the government, through this constitution, derives all its powers and authority. You are a sovereign. You have the power to question your governance. We must use it. If we do not use it, nothing on this planet can save us from the exploitation, oppression, and the straight injustice, the barefaced injustice of bad governance that's been imposed on us by those who are meant to serve we, the people, who are, of course, sovereigns, you and I. So, 14.2c. Remind you, abala kan ẹlẹ́sẹ̀ kejì sí, ìkópa àwọn ènìyàn níjọba gbọ́dọ̀ rí dájú ní ìbámu pẹ̀lú àwọn òfin orílẹ̀-èdè yìí. It means that you are a sovereign and you have the power to participate in your governance by way of questioning your governance, monitoring them on a monthly basis, finding out where the funds that they're spending are going, and making sure they follow the law, and making sure that if they don't, we hold them accountable to ensure that those we elect into office, they comply with the law. If they don't, we can recall them. These are the powers that we possess, and I'll come and explain that in further broadcast. But for now, let's just know those rights first and share it in our community right now. Okay, let's carry on again. Let's go ahead.
you will see there is a mixture of civil society and public servants.
minister says other reforms of the correctional service will help improve security and welfare of inmates, efficient data management, and upgrading custodial centers.
We have engaged in a series of infrastructural improvement. I don't want to say too much, but of course, Kuje.
That's not the point. The processes are not working. There's a failure. There's a deep failure of process. And we have reason to believe that many politicians have actually afforded themselves the get out of jail card that this staying out of prison literally represents. And that issue has not been addressed. So whatever you are saying, Dr. Oluwemi Tujiojo, whatever you're saying as a Minister of Interior, this falls on your desk. And you must be made accountable. You must be made example of. We're calling on President Tinubu to set up a tribunal. Your team, yourself and your team must face the tribunal in open session where every Nigerian must see what is being done, how you are being questioned in the open. A lot of these transgressions have been done in a secret. We need to blow it out in the open. Just saying, oh, this is bad, how can? No. We need to set up that process, and we must compel. You can use your powers as sovereigns right now to tell your government that you want a public inquiry to be televised on TV. You have that power. The question is, are you willing to use it? I'm going to show you again in your local language. You are going to learn this. We can no longer just stand around going, oh, they are not doing. Time we take collective action. We're showing you how to do it. Don't ignore. Collective action is what I'm showing you here. Use that power. Use that power that you see on the screen in local language. Just for good measure, we'll put the English on top of it as well. You need to use those powers. They've hidden it from you. We get it. I get it. It's been hidden from you. Now you know we must use it. You can use this power to call for demand for a town hall meeting. All senators and local government areas, you can call a town hall meeting. Call all those elected officials and tell them that you're sending them a message to tell the government that you demand for a public tribunal over the fact that prisoners, personalities and politicians are getting away with their crime by not spending a day in jail. If they are doing that, that means they see themselves above the law. What's the point of being in? Then we are not one Nigeria. That's the clearest evidence that we are not one Nigeria. We are not. So, please memorize and learn that. I'll be bringing that in intermittently. Let's go ahead.
Medium's Correctional Center is not far from here. I will encourage that you just take you go to Kuje and see it as an example.
That's not the point. That's not the point. This is not addressing the issue. All you're just simply doing is you are doing something. The thing that failed, you are not addressing, and it is evident that you haven't got answers or solutions to that problem. You are not saying, okay, this is terribly wrong. You're not making that clear that the buck stops with you, and as a result, for failure, until we get a new minister in, I am resigning with immediate effect because we need to set a good example. That's what you should do. But you are protecting your so-called interest because we, the citizens, have not been using our powers of authority as sovereigns. Let us start using it. Let's go ahead.
Of what God has helped this administration to achieve in terms of infrastructural uplift, even to the cells, to infrastructure, to water, to electricity, to the environment. A lot of infrastructural work has been done. And also, part of what we have been able to do is in Niger State, we've completed the renovation of the administrative block and, of course, a new block at Suleja Prison, Correctional Center. In Kano, we reconstructed the observation tower and, of course, also constructed and rebuilt a mini armory strengthening security measures. In Lagos State, we built a 96 capacity solid concrete cell block at Kirikiri Maximum Security Facility, therefore increasing and improving accommodation for our.
In 2024 alone, a combined 400 inmates have escaped custodial centers in Niger State and Borno when some parts of the perimeter fence was pulled down by heavy rains and flood. The Minister of Interior is also facing criticisms after disturbing videos emerged of poor feeding conditions of inmates in Afokang Custodial Center in Calabar, despite an increased budget allocation for feeding of inmates.
Can you see?
Ferdinand Duroja, Arise News.
Do you see?
Well, joining me now to
Should that minister be in position? The infrastructure meant for prisons is not functioning. The feeding of the prisoners is shoddy. It is beyond. It is not even what. No human should be put through that. Do you think he's worth staying in his position? You have a say in that matter. Use your powers of sovereignty. Demand a town hall meeting. From that town hall meeting, call a town hall meeting. From that town hall meeting, demand a public tribunal where the minister and his team will be questioned, and the deliberations, the government of the day was make sure that this president, this minister is sacked, and all of his team. They mustn't get away with it. They must be sacked. An example must be made. If you are talking about one Nigeria that's going to function, the rule of law must be upheld, and it must be seen to be upheld. This is no longer acceptable. Use your powers of sovereignty. Let's go ahead.
Discuss or probe further into the alleged confession of bribery by Idris Okuneye, also known as Bobrisky, against some immigration EFCC officials. His legal practitioner, Frank Tietie, and a RISE analyst. Thank you very much for joining us. So quite a number of cases, issues involved in this particular matter. Let's take it one by one. What is the most...
Yes, just to add one more thing to this quickly, please. If you do like what I'm wearing now, which is the new logo and stuff for Citizen A, the platform where we speak to this power, get in touch, leave a comment, and we can happily get that to you, and we'll give you the pricing. The hoodie itself is £40, and the beanie cap is £20, and you find it's good value for money. And the message of the integrity of the platform is written, and it states it's the platform where we speak truth to power. We're here to enlighten, to encourage you to know your rights in your local language. That's what we're about, and that's what this platform is about. To ensure the people are able to actively participate in their governance through using their powers of sovereignty to hold their governance to account, to ensure in so doing that they get the infrastructure they need: roads, water, light, schools, bridges, healthcare, safety, security. It is through education, re-education in our local languages, knowing your rights in your local language. Thank you very much. Before you go ahead, don't forget to subscribe to Citizen AY on YouTube. How do you do that? Here you go. Subscribe to Citizen AY, hit the subscribe button, give us thumbs up, help us reach more people. And please, if you do like the attire that I'm wearing, the hoodie and the beanie combo, get in touch, leave a comment. We have various sizes. The cap is one size fits all, but the hoodie, you can get it in small, medium, large, extra large, XXL, and it's sizes for men and women. So please do get in touch. They'll be putting some links up on the website where you can actually click on that and order it from there in due course. We're working on that as we speak as well. Thank you very much. Let's go ahead.
Fundamental issue at play here? Is it a case of defamation or what exactly? The issue of bribery and all of that?
I think it's a case of national self-deception, where a minister will pretend that he didn't know that this has been the description of the situation in Nigerian correctional centers, Nigerian prisons. Or does he think that it is by swearing to God that people will believe him? Nigerians believe that big men, whenever they are sentenced, don't go to prison, and that they have special treatments. Two things, two major pointers to this. Right. Apart from the investigative journalistic work of Fisayo Sowambo, who actually, I think he should be an international and national award winning journalist for that kind of, undercover, investigative journalism he did by pretending to be a criminal who was arrested and then he went to prison and then thereby exposing, documenting and exposing the horrendous state of our criminal justice system, and we pretended that it didn't exist, and that was in 2019. To date, we didn't do anything, and then we have a minister who wants to say that it is now he wants to wake up because a very dark man, somebody doing one kind of skit or one kind of revelation to get, some kind of followership and traction. He's not the one revealing the things that would now make us as a country to now do what we call national prison reforms. We are a bunch of jokers, and the minister should wake up. If the minister had suspended the Comptroller General of the Nigerian Correctional Service, we'll know that he's serious. Because if the minister didn't suspend the Comptroller General, then the president should suspend the minister. Because it's a national scandal. Because we have always
the box
that the next thing, Kemi Adetiba in her movie The King of Boys, expressly showed Nigerians what happened in Nigerian prisons. We had one Superman who was said to be sentenced, but he was in prison, and you saw the colors. The colors represented some form of national color, while in Kemi Adetiba's King of Boys. And that guy was controlling things, committing crime, and then actually putting the prison guys on
what you said, that people are going to go back and watch Kemi Adetiba's King of Boys. But let's look at this issue seriously. So, in this Bobrisky situation, it's not the first time that's happening.
No, it's a normal thing first. Let's agree first of all, it's a normal thing, and the minister should first of all acknowledge that it's normal.
Hold on. On the morning show today, we had, two experts, trying to make a case for the need to have certain categories for persons of interest in a situation where you want to secure their personal, safety and the security of the prison facility itself. Are there instances, in the case of this celebrity, where this may be acceptable?
We have the Nigerian Correctional Services Act of 2019 that makes provision for such situations. Now, people who should be protected should be given some kind of special protection, should be persons probably suffering from mental health problems, and then women. Now, apart from that, all other inmates are supposed to be equal.
Now, where you have a man who is a cross-dresser, who has presented himself as a woman over the years, and he's come to be accepted as a woman, is even referred to as a she. Do you put him in a prison where, or holding facility where men?
When Bobrisky Idris Okuneye was taken to the Correctional Service Center, the first thing they did was to determine his sexuality, and then they stripped him and checked him.
His gender.
His gender, I would say.
Right.
Not his
sexuality.
And then he was checked, right?
Yeah.
Now, the problem is this, is the solicitation for bribe in order to be given some kind of VIP treatment, which is the normal process.
He paid 50 million to stay out of jail. If you're rich, laws of Nigeria does not apply to you. We are not one Nigeria. If you are rich, the laws, you are above the laws in Nigeria. Nigeria is a failed nation. Let us be frank. When we say this is exactly what we mean. One law for the rich, another for the poor. Nigeria is a failed nation.
That we experience. I've seen an officer of the National Correctional Service Center being beaten up by an officer of the DSS in the court. The reason he was doing that is because the Nigerian Correctional Service officer was very excited when a VIP was being sentenced, so he was racing to go and get him. The idea is that they know among themselves that look, it is a big fish. When you get a VIP, when you get a celebrity like Bobrisky coming to prison or whatever, and then you negotiate how to give it. Some kind of treatment. The problem here is that there is a VIP.
This shows that our governance is a farce. This is a real watershed moment, and I urge us all. Don't go on any program and making complaints. Your business must be town hall meetings immediately. Calling town hall meetings, calling all of the politicians to a town hall meeting. Let them know in no certain times that you're happy with this and you want a public tribunal to take place with Tuji Ojo, Minister of Interior, being grilled along with his team and being given the appropriate treatment they deserve. It mustn't be in position. You have the power to do so. The question as citizens, as sovereignty, is: are you willing to do that to make sure that your governance becomes accountable to you in all central and local government areas? That's the question we're asking now.
Treatment that was outside the correctional service center. And again, it reminds me, recently there was a cooperative, the Nigerian Correctional Service Cooperative was announcing one big achievement by they built a luxury hotel somewhere close around to the airport road, which is somewhere also where the head office of the Nigerian Correctional Service is. Right. For goodness sake. So because they've seen that it's a very lucrative business, taking care of VIP, prisoners.
So they do make provision for certain
no, not at all. There is
you see what we mean? It's a two-tier system. If you're rich, you're above the law. If you're poor, the law applies to you and is forcibly applied on you. And there's no favors. But when you're rich, you get special favors. What kind of a nation is that? Ask yourself, what kind of a nation is that? And this speaks to the decay in the system. Without your active participation, monitoring your governance, using the powers that I will keep showing you, it's going to be a reminder. We need to be reminding ourselves the powers we possess. I want you to know those powers. There it is in English and in Yoruba. I have it in Hausa, but I'm only going to be showing you Hausa and Igbo as well. But I'm showing you this for now, and we'll do programs where we'll be showing that. You need to play your role. Let us begin. Let us start doing that. These powers, you are the sovereign. You haven't used it because they didn't allow us. They didn't teach us. They didn't want us to know this. Now we are here showing you. You don't need to be worrying and saying, oh, the government should do. If you don't use your powers of sovereignty, I'm showing you on the screen now, the government will continue to exploit you. It is literally that simple. And we need to get that message out there. And that's why you see me being very, very clear now that the only course of action to take is collective action, holding our governance to account, monitoring those we elect into office via monthly town hall meetings. Enough of this nonsense. Let's go ahead.
There is a level of equality. But again, I agree there is some measure of discretion on the part of the person who is managing the prison as to give certain protection to people. Who are those persons to be protected? Are those persons, do you ask the person to pay 15 million naira so that they can get special protection?
15 million naira paid by Idris Olarewaju Okuneye. She's saying allegedly. This is what was played on the Very Dark Man video. Let's go ahead.
And then, allegedly. For goodness sake, that is what has triggered this investigation.
Now let's look at the issue of defamation, because we don't have that much time. The issue of defamation, when a person in a conversation that they believe is a private conversation that they're having with another person, right? Let's say this is a private conversation we're having, and another person now publishes this conversation, right? That could be damaging somewhat. Who really should be liable in terms of defamation?
Look, there is a defense to defamation, but what is important here is the job of a whistleblower that the very dark man, Martins, did. So first of all, let's acknowledge that. The unfortunate part of it is that he didn't have to mention the name of Femi Falana, for goodness sake, when he could not verify that. And the way he mentioned it by saying that a lawyer that he once respected, a lawyer to Fela and all the that was damaging and that was unnecessary because he didn't have the proof at that time. But if his intention was correctional, in the sense that he wanted to expose the dark side of Nigerian prison, the very things that Fisayo had said many years ago, since 2019, indicating that Nigerian Correctional Service is a huge joke. Imagine the fact that
unintended consequences.
It is not. Look, you don't call that unintended. I think that is not fair, and to consider that there is an aspect of defamation that is criminal. I think that the Martins should actually answer to that. He could have simply said a certain prominent lawyer and not make unfortunate and unfounded allegations, especially when Mr. Femi Falana SAN has now said he has never had such kind of a conversation. And you need to know the personality of the Falana that we're talking about. For goodness sake, how much is involved? And then you need to also look at the fact that you are talking about prerogative of mercy. Do you think it just happens happens because a lawyer applies. You forget that there's a committee that is set up that makes a recommendation to either the governor or the president. So this whole joke, but it's wrong. And again, come back, and I don't want to forget about this. Under the administration of this Comptroller General, between 2021 and 2024, we've had not less than 8 prison breaks, and with 4,000 inmates, most of them who are Boko Haram terrorists, and they're fleeing, escaping. So we have this kind of inefficiency in treating.
You see, this is what we're saying. Inmates escaping and everything else is lack of accountability. The only way we can impose and demand and ensure that there is accountability in the system is by using our collective powers of sovereignty. Again, I highlight that. It may be hard for some people to take this message and think I'm just, belaboring the point. But we need to believe it's gotten so far that is the course of action that we must absolutely take without any shadow of doubt. So I am putting it on the screen. When a minister is failing to carry out his role and trying to actually justify, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and the food and all that is terrible, there's jailbreaks, and there is no accountability. We, the people, our role is to ensure that we monitor our governance and instill that accountability through questioning of elected and appointed officials. We are the sovereigns. We have that power. The powers I show you are on the screen and is in your local language. No more talk. Collective action. Monthly town hall meetings immediately. ASAP. That's the object of what we're doing today on this broadcast. Please do share. You're, of course, listening to Citizen AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. Don't forget, subscribe to Citizen AY, hit notification button, give us thumbs up. We are a solution-based platform. Subscribe and share, hit notification button, give us thumbs up. We are a solution-based platform. We don't want to come here and just say this person, the government. You don't need to beg the government. The government is meant to serve you. What we are doing is trying to re-educate our people critically in our local languages. You have the power. Sovereignty, authority, and power are all yours. Collectively in your community, you have that right to hold your governor to account, to monitor them, to ensure they comply with rule of law and they fulfill what is being said. And they explain to you where the funds are going. And where they fail to perform, you recall them or impeach them. And in the case of the minister, you call a tribunal, you demand for a tribunal, public tribunal, where he is questioned. And once he's found wanting, he's gone. Now you are participating in your governance. This is what it means to be participating in your governance. And that's what we're about. So before anybody talks about, I want to go for Yoruba Nation and all that stuff, if you don't have these powers, you cannot get Yoruba Nation. I'm being frank with you. Let's carry
on. Our inmates, and something fundamental needs to be done. So the minister needs to go beyond this idea of suspending some 2 persons who are just carrying out a norm in the Nigerian Correctional Service, and then go more fundamental about it. If we are not joking as a country,
what are these fundamental reforms that need to be put in place
first of all,
to fix our correctional services?
We keep telling ourselves that we have some of the best laws, and indeed it is true. Run the correctional service according to the book. We have custodial services, services, sentencing, and non-custodial services that can be rendered by the correctional service. For goodness sake, we're talking about somebody who was supposed to be spraying money, who was supposed to be abusing Naira, and we thought that the best thing that we could do as a way of correcting it was to send him to prison for 6 months, whereas other persons did not got lighter sentences, or they were even slapped in the wrist, forgetting that somebody advised that person that please go and plead that you're guilty so that you can get this, not knowing that the man was being settled. For goodness sake, if Bobrisky were to have good counsel, right now he's a victim of the corrupt and inefficient criminal justice system of this country, and he should sue the federal government as we speak, because not only that, he was said to have solicitation to him that he should bring money so that a certain charge be dropped. Can you imagine that? And the people who are involved, whether the correctional service, whether it is the Ministry of Interior, these are the same persons who say they are conducting one form of investigation, or even the EFCC. It cannot be. Well,
these are all allegations.
Whether you call them allegations or not, these are norms. These are things that have existed. And where is the ICPC here? Because we are talking principles.
The system is not working. We need you to participate. Collectively, all of us must begin to participate. And please, let us start teaching those powers that I showed you, that I'll continue to show you on the screen, to our children. It is the only way to break the cycle of injustice and bad governance. It is our active participation collectively in our communities, in our local languages, that will really be the key to change this injustice and bad governance. Just talking alone is no longer enough. We need collective action, and I'm here to advocate for that. And I'm encouraging you. Monthly town hall meetings is a must. We'll come back and expatiate more on that. You do have the power to recall your senators, your House of Reps, and your State House of Assembly member, and they have the power to impeach your governor. Again, we'll tell you all this. Under Section 69, you can impeach your senator, your House of Reps. Under Section 110, you can impeach your State House of Assembly. Under Section 188, not impeach, you can recall your State House of Assembly. So let me say again. Section 69, you can recall your State House of Assembly, your House of Reps and your senators. Section 69, you can recall your House of Reps and senators. Section 110, you can recall your State House of Assembly members. Section 188, you can impeach your governor, provided that 2/3 of all of the State House of Assembly members vote in that manner. These are the things that you have the powers to do. Now stop begging, stop being on your knees, stop going to any useless church or any useless mosque. We need you to know your rights in your local language. This platform is here to educate and raise your awareness. The question is, are you ready? And what part are you prepared to play in your community to raise awareness so you can have the roads, the water, the light, the schools, the bridges, the healthcare, the safety, the security? Because your community are collectively coming together, having monthly town hall meetings will make it impossible for the politicians to loot and to carry out injustice against yourself or against your community, or try to go in jail and try to avoid going to jail for the crimes that they commit. The time for action is now. No more talk. It falls on our shoulders. We are here to educate you. Please let us take this on board. You are listening to Citizen AY, the platform where we speak with power. We are serious about this. We want to change what is going on. And even if you want to go for Yoruba Nation, you still need to know your rights within the current Nigeria. And then through that, you can go for a referendum. But I would suggest strongly that we actually ensure that we have a regional governance in place. Because there you can see, when that doesn't work, then you have every right to go and demand for a referendum collectively across the whole of the nation. Because right now, Nigeria is not working. Nobody can tell us Nigeria is working. From the president downwards, the evidence that the nation has failed, from the fiasco of we having oil, the third largest oil producing country in the entire world, and we're having to import oil. We have 5 refineries, not one of them is working, maybe now, and even the one that is working, the money that it was used to build, it was taken from us and privatized with no accountability. We need to begin to participate in our governance. That is the solution. Without that, in our local languages, we will continue to suffer and be impoverished by those who are meant to serve us. Enough of this now. Let us take collective action. Let me play fast forward this a bit more, then maybe we'll call time on it. But please do share this when you get it. It is really important. Let's go ahead.
Principally about bribery and corruption, about the destruction of our criminal justice system, and you want the same persons who they are the perpetrators to do the investigation. I think we must stop this national joke.
Okay, it's a good place to leave it.
Exactly. It's a good place to leave it. It's a national joke. Nigeria is not working. Let us be frank. And it requires us to know our rights. And that's why I reiterate this. If you are going to come on any show, if you go to any show as a Nigerian and you say, oh, the government should do this, the government should do that, the government should do, and you are not taking concrete critical action such as I am outlining and suggesting strongly for us all to take in every community right now, monthly town hall meeting must become a regularity. and you have to ensure that your local community association is independent, not being controlled by those in government, because they are meant to serve you. The minute they control you, they are oppressing you. They will start coming to give you 1,000 naira when they're meant to fix your water, pipe-borne water. They'll give you, or they say I've done borehole. What is borehole when you need pipe-borne water functioning across your entire community? Time to wake up. We have the powers. Let us use it. I've translated it into Yoruba language. Go to my website, www.citizenny.org. You will see the translation in the key sections of the Constitution in Yoruba language. And we are looking to work with others about to doing the Igbo version, the Hausa version, and begin to teach this in your community. And we want you to know it and also how to use those powers. And this is why you see me, I'm putting it out there. I'm putting those section 42 and 42C in Yoruba language. Of course, you have the English version of it, which I'm going to show you again. I'm zooming in closely. Take a screenshot. This is no longer a joke. If you are going to go to a church and be praying, and you think your prayers is the solution, you are very much mistaken. You're very much mistaken. And we are here to wake you up. We need you to know that you have the power to make this change. This is clear evidence that the system has failed. And it requires us as sovereigns to monitor our governance. Without us monitoring the governance on a consistent basis, monthly minimum, the system will continue to oppress and suppress us with no accountability. We must ensure that we put the accountability in place right from our local government upwards. It is down to you and me now. Ladies and gentlemen, you are of course listening to Citizenny, the platform where we speak truth to power. Thank you very much for watching. What are your thoughts on this? Don't forget, you can also get this. We have this. This is £20, the hoodie beanie, and this is £40 for the hoodie. We have them in various sizes. Do leave a comment and I'll tell you how you can actually order that if you want it. Just get in touch. And you have my PayPal going across the screen there. Put your size in it and just send me the PayPal. It's on admin@citizenny.org. It's all on there and you can help by reaching me, in that way. So let us carry on with doing the work. There is more work to do. But right now, it is obvious that if we do not take on our role, this was hidden from us. Let's be very clear. They've tried to oppress us and prevent us from knowing our rights. And we are trying to translate into local government and local language. Let me show you one more thing before I wrap this up. I'm going to just step away from there for a second.
Frank Tete is a lawyer.
Let me just say, okay, Frank Tete is there. So let's go and show you on my website what you can find on there. Let us quickly go into it. So we can go here. Let me see if we can do that. www.citizenny.org. There you go, citizenny.org, and it comes up. So you go into the website, and it says home. So you go into there, and what you do is, I also have the song on there, How Long Will Not Go to Suffer. It's very up. We'll play like a few minutes of that. You can download this song on Spotify and iTunes. It's called How Long Will Not Go to Suffer. We need to take collective action. We need to know our rights, and that's why we're talking about for you to know your rights. Here we go. Listen to this now. Citizenny. My people, I throw it salute. Hey, hey. Make it hear. Determination.
How long? How long? How long? How long? How long gonna go this suffer? How long? How long? How long? How long gonna go this suffer? How long? How long? How long? How long gonna go this suffer? How long? Oh, how long? How long? How long gonna go this suffer? Abdul Salam na fake man. Now he put that yeah constitution for your head, yo. That's all. Abdul Salam na fake man. Now military man can't tell you na say una get constitution. No be lie. Na lie, yo. Na fake. Na fraud, oh. That yeah constitution. Now him then they claim close to na high, yo. Make una wake up. Make una wake up. Oh. Sharp, sharp. How long? How long? How long? How long gonna go this suffer? How long? How long? How long? How long gonna go this suffer? How long? How long? How long? How long gonna go this suffer? How long? Oh, how long? How long gonna go this suffer? My people, I want make una know say oh, self-determination oh, na your right oh, confirm. My people, I want make una know say oh, self-determination na your right oh, confirm. You must fight for your right. You must stand for your right. You must get up, stand up. You must tell your people for your village, for your town, for your city, any inside country where you dey oh. Atiku, Emilokan, or Peter Obi no be the solution. Na the solution, na it be the solution. Make una wake up, make una wake up. Time down knock, bagang bagang. Be Yoruba man, you be Biafran. I want make una know say self-determination na your right you. How long? How long? How long? How long gonna go this suffer? How long? How long? How long? How long gonna go this suffer? How long? How long? How long? How long gonna go this suffer? How long? Oh, how long? How long? How long gonna go this suffer? Yoruba land na your land yo. Middle belt na your land yo. Hausa land na your land yo. Biafra land na your land yo. No be Nigeria. No be Nigeria. No be Nigeria. No be Nigeria. La 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 oh.
Yes, so that's the song right there. You can download it on iTunes and on Spotify. The reason I'm saying that it is not working for us is because they put the constitution in English and none of us understood it. And on ground, we are translated into local languages. So that's what we're doing right now. So let us go into that now and show you what I mean. So I'm going to show you key sections of the Nigerian constitution in local languages. Key sections. So in this, when you go on here, you will see it on here, and it says ìwé òfin pàtàkì ní èdè Yorùbá. So that's taking out key sections which I spoke about earlier on. So let's go into it. So you will see the constitution and it's relating, and depending on where you are in Nigeria, there are some landmark things that we will put in to connect you to that constitution. Ori Olokun represents the king's head, the bronze heads in Yoruba land. So it makes you know that you are a person of dignity, a person of royalty. Your entire Yoruba land are people of royal connections on the community with connections to the land. That is why we're putting that on the constitution. And the constitution is meant to serve you. So again, if it's Igbo, we will look for something of a symbol from the Igbo people to connect them in their local language to that constitution. The idea is for people to see themselves and see the powers that they possess within that constitution in the context of their own language, and so they can understand it. So That's why I want to just give you that context right there. So now, so you can see now, going up, this is the Constitution. So quick sections we did. Section 10, right to no religion shall be adopted as state religion, and that kind of thing. So people know that. So and that is very important to understand. So section 10, section 14, section 33, right to life, section 34, section 39, section 40. You can see it as I go along. You see section 39 coming up, section 40, and then you have section 69 about recall, the powers of recall, that you can recall senators, your House of Reps. Section 110. All of these are in Yoruba language. Section 10 again, the power to recall your state House of Assembly member. Finally, section 188. Section 188 right there. The powers to recall to impeach your governors. These are powers that you possess. So for people to know those powers in local language is critical, and that's what we're advocating for. And we're trying to share this particular document in all communities in local languages. We need your support there. That is why we're saying, if you can donate to us, the PayPal is on the screen. We'd welcome that. Super chat, subscribe to us on this platform. Help us grow the platform. There is a lot of information. Now we can no longer trust our governance. They make empty promises because they know that we're not monitoring them. Our role is to monitor them on a monthly basis. Set up independent local community associations. Always do this as a collective. Never go as individuals. In every community, you have the right to hold your governors to account. They are answerable to you. Your job is to monitor your governance on a monthly basis. The funds they receive, where it's being spent, how much has been spent, who are the contractors, what's the balance. Your senator is answerable to you, and if they fail to answer you, like I stated, you can recall them. And these are the powers we want you to know, and critically in your local language. So let us know your thoughts on this. I hope you found this useful, and please do leave comment. Let us know what you thought about the attire. It is a new thing that we're doing, and it's a way to connect the integrity of the platform, and to be able to, when you wear this, you know that this platform, you representing the platform, and you believe in the ethos of the platform that says we are here to speak truth to power. We are here to raise awareness in our communities of our people knowing their rights in their local language. The time is now. Don't wait anymore. Just talking about, you do not need to wait for promises from the government. The government must answer you because you are a sovereign. You pose questions, and if they cannot answer, they face the consequences. And in you monitoring them, they will not be able to loot in your community. And you'll be able to get the roads, the water, the light, the schools, the bridges, the healthcare, the safety, the security that you rightly deserve. And we are here to encourage that in every community, all 774 local government areas. We need your support. Please subscribe to Citizen AY on TikTok, on YouTube, on Instagram, on Xspace. Go ahead. On Circle. Help us grow the platform. We need your support. There's a lot of work to do, and we need people on ground in every community. Stakeholders that will go in. We are going to train stakeholders in communities to go around and explain this. We're not here to fight the government. We just need our people to know their rights. And what I showed you, quick synopsis of what I just showed you. In all what I showed you there, the further breakdown of it is what you see on the screen coming up now. That's in English there. Let me quickly go into it. That's in English, and of course, it is in Yoruba in that section. So you see, we've done, this is to make it easy for people to access in your local language. When you know your rights in your local language, trust me, nobody can cheat you. And that is the object of what we're saying. So complaining and saying the government should do, and the government, if you do not have multi-town hall meetings, you will not be able to hold your government accountable. So the town hall meetings is a must. Let us begin there. Ladies and gentlemen, you are of course listening to Citizen AY, the platform where we speak truth about Balatron. What are your thoughts on this? I'd really like to hear your views, please. And if you do want to get this this hoodie, it's really, what do you think? Let me hear your comments. The hoodie is 40 quid, and the top, the beanie is 20 pounds. And get in touch, leave a comment. I'll be showing you ways you can do it. We have it in all the various sizes. The cap is one size fits all. Let us know your thoughts. And what are your thoughts on what we just said now? We have to put a stop to this injustice. And it requires you and me participating, critically using our local language. You don't have to know your rights in a foreign language. You need to know it in your local language. And we are here to advocate strongly for that. Support us, please. We do need your support. You are listening to Citizen AY, the platform where we speak truth power. Balatron. Thank you, and bye. bye for now. Please do share this podcast and let's hear your comments. Thank you so much and bye for now.